Being a hero is hard, unless you have a cheat sheet. Enter Stories, The Path of Destinies, a game by Spearhead Games following the would-be hero Reynardo. At the beginning of his journey, Reynardo finds a book that seems to give him some sort of pseudo-immortality, in which he can die in many horrible fashions and be returned back to the time where he found the book, letting him try and likely die all over again. Yay! The basics of the story are as follows. The Emperor of Boreas had suddenly come down with a wicked case of evil and was causing atrocities left and right. Being the hero-ish character, it falls to Reynardo to stop him. It gets progressively more complex as it goes. The way the story plays out is actually one of the biggest draws of this game. As you're playing, you're given different choices as to how you think your adventure should play out. For instance, should you go off to try and save your friend versus go and try to find an ancient powerful weapon. All of these, in one way or another, lead to Reynardo getting offed, but because of the magic book, he gets to restart his journey every time he fails. In order to actually beat the game, you have to find the 4 main truths that'll lead Reynardo to an actual victory. However, there's way more than 4 endings. Most choices seem to lead to a different ending, and even the ones that won't progress the overall story will give you bonuses like crafting materials or automatic level ups. So even if you don't unlock a truth, you'll get some bonuses, and it's actually kind of fun to see the odd and horrible ways poor old Reynardo will bite it. Am I a sadist? Whatever. All of this is narrated, by the way, and I'll be honest, I really like the narrator. He does all of the voices and tells the story bits pretty well.
The kid had fled with one of those books. He was brave and dumb and wanted to join the rebellion. And Reynardo had promised his mother he'd protect him.
It kind of makes things feel more like an actual story to have it all read to you, which I like. Enough about story, we need to discuss the main attraction of actually playing as the righteous hero, murder, by which I mean combat. Fighting in this game is not the most fun I've ever had, but it does work pretty well. Your main attack moves, those being swinging your sword, parrying, and grabbing, are all taken care of with one button. It makes fighting as a whole seem really fluid and smooth, and you can get into a real rhythm this way. The biggest problem is that it can kinda get stale after a while. There's only about 5 different enemies, and how they fight is pretty simple. Towards the end, I really just wanted to get the fights over with so I can get back to progressing the story. So fighting as a whole is okay. It's not bad, but not great. The game also has very limited crafting. There's 4 swords, and each can be leveled up once or twice. That's not a lot. You can also find gems to give you passives, but still, there isn't many, and their effects aren't astounding. I honestly feel like you could get through the entire game without even looking at these features. If Spearhead plans to make a sequel, which I honestly wouldn't mind, they really need to beef up the crafting and customization elements. The game can also be pretty short depending on how long it takes you to find the 4 truths. I managed to beat it in about 5 or 6 hours. You can keep playing to find all of the other endings though, so if you're interested in that, it'll probably last you much longer. So let's wrap things up. Stories is an interesting game with a cool story system and decent combat. It's not astounding, but the game is certainly nothing to sneeze at either. The game is $15 on Steam, which I honestly think is a bit too much. But if you can find it on sale, I'd say go for it. For me, Stories gets a 7.5 out of 10. So that's that. Thanks for watching.